Welcome to the next installment of the Madison Wine Exchange and our wonderful video blog. This week we have Todd Anderson of Anderson's Conn Valley in Napa Valley here to greet us with a wine that isn't even available yet to the market. It's coming out November 1st. Todd, what do we have here today?
Well, it's the Eloge, and I've decided not to let you have any. So.
Oh, all right. I guess I'm done. All right. And I'm out.
The cab blend that we tend to make every year called Eloge, that's usually a blend of Cab, Franc, Merlot, and Petit Verdot. This particular vintage is 65 Cab, 25 Cabernet Franc, 7 Petit Verdot, and 3% Merlot.
Very nice.
Small limited production, about 800 to 1,000 cases. Started doing it in '93. Didn't do it again until '96 because we had to replant a lot of the vineyards because of phylloxera. Wanted to keep the estate label going. So it really got going in '96.
Now, everyone's been touting and praising this '07 vintage. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, that's mostly the wine writers, which have never made wine before. You know, every vintage in the Napa Valley has been a good vintage. The vintage, to me, and having grown up on a farm, being a geologist and geophysicist, and having studied Mother Nature, is the actual growing of the grapes. You've got a long enough growing season to get physiologically ripe grapes every year in the Napa Valley. You always have. There are years like this year in 2010 where you're going to have your first frost. Your opportunity for picking is getting smaller and smaller. That's okay if you're a little guy, because we can pick our vineyard in 3 days. But if you're a large winery, it takes you 30 days. You got to start picking eventually, and then you usually end up getting plugged up with your tanks because you don't have enough fermentation space. So, '07 was an easy year to make great wine, and so when I look at vintages, for me, it's more about the drinkability of one vintage versus another, not the quality. But there are years where it's just difficult for the large guys to do it consistently.
Well, we're very excited about trying this '07 Eloge because each vintage of this Eloge has been absolutely stellar. And to see the next vintage, something that no one's seen yet, right, we're quite excited. So we should probably take a look here.
Yeah. You know, the interesting thing about this, and it shows the power of the press, we've been having people calling about this wine for 2 years. It had just gone to barrels. And, you know, people were, when's the '07 Eloge coming out? So it is one of the more popular wines, I guess, that we have, although they all seem to be fairly popular. But yeah, 2 years in advance. Well,
yeah, that's
now we're getting close.
That's the power of Parker and everybody.
Who?
Exactly.
Hey, Bob.
Oh, wow. We probably should have let this open up a little bit more.
Yeah, but you know, this, in terms of what I was talking about earlier, the drinkability of a wine, this opens up pretty quickly. It'll drink pretty well right away, compared to, say, some vintages like '98, 2000 that were supposedly bad vintages. Those were vintages that just didn't drink real well early on. When we released our '98s, you had to decant them at breakfast for dinner tomorrow night. It took 36 hours to open up, but you open a '98 now, pretty much in a half hour, 45 minutes, good to go. So, yeah, and particularly young wines, really well-made wines, they're going to benefit from air. But this one opens up pretty quick.
Yeah, let's see what we got going here.
There you have it.
Wow. That is complex, and it lingers on quite long here. I mean, I'm getting waved up with more power and intensity as it keeps going.
There's a lot of depth to most of our wines that sit on the palate. My gauge is the consumer, particularly when I'm at the winery in the cave and I'm tasting with people there. I can always give my opinion, but I think it's the consumer that matters. And I get calls from all over the world as to what people are drinking and when they're drinking it and what they might be having it with. And so when somebody calls up and says, hey, tell me about this particular wine, I can give you a feedback from Germany, from Switzerland, Asia, this country. People always ask me, well, what am I getting in there? I'm like, I have no idea. So here's a wine aroma wheel, and I'll teach you how to taste wine. We'll look for flavors and so forth. But it's a well-balanced wine right out of the chute. A lot of nice young fruit that we expect out of California. Not so extracted in most people's opinions, like some of the wines that have been criticized recently. Although those wine writers that are criticizing them now were giving them 100 points 5 years ago. But yeah, just a well balanced wine. And I'm all about sight, smell, and taste, and mouthfeel first. I really don't care about aromas and flavors initially. I want the wine to feel good in your mouth.
Well, thank you very much for making wine for consumers and wine lovers, and not for wine critics and for scores. And for that, we all truly appreciate it. And thank you guys very much. And this is going to be here available November 1st. Todd, thank you so much for coming along.
My pleasure.
Have a great day.
Thank you.